Good morning, happy Tuesday. How is everybody doing? My name is Penny. If you're finding me for the first time, please like my page and share this video and invite your friends so we can have a talk like regular people. So here it is. I was trying to find the page. I come here at around 9 New Jersey Eastern Standard Time to just talk to one person. So today, in fact, before I even start talking about grief, that's what I'm talking about. I am organic. When I say organic, I don't have anything added to me except my glasses. I'm all organic. So social media, although we are getting better, social media has made people to enhance themselves. Nowadays, I see women with eyelashes, the fake eyelashes, and makeup, the filters. Gabe Tiako, how are you? I'm doing good. Please share this video. So now, we've lost ourselves in trying to portray ourselves how we are not. So this is how I am without any makeup. The same way I was in Nyando Chevere until I left Nyando Chevere. So try to keep it natural. If you're posting, try to use less filters. If you're wearing makeup, try to do it in moderation. Being authentic is really, really important. Daniel, how are you? There was some other girl with some chicken. Which other girl? Gabe, which other girl? I have chicken. Tell me, and I have eggs. So we are trying to be as natural as possible. It's very helpful to be realistic, okay? And to be realistic is being like this. Who you see when you see this text? Gabe, write me a text. I'm not understanding what you're saying. So try to be authentic. So let's talk about grief for a minute. If you lost someone in the past few months, or right now you're going through loss, I am so sorry. I lost my father in 2007. I lost my brother that I was very close to in 2012 here in America, to alcohol actually. And his loss is still a wound, a fresh wound that have not healed. So we lose not just in death. If you've lost a marriage, you've lost a job, you've lost a relationship, like you were friends with me and then all of a sudden I decided to cut you off. We suffer different kinds of loss. You can even lose your appetite. You've lost your appetite. You've lost interest, like you lost yourself. You know, you can lose yourself. You don't know where you are. I can tell you, when my mom got sick, I'm finally getting back to normal. I actually lost myself. I was staying strong. I was coming. I was venting here a lot of times. I shared because once my mom got sick, I finally came into realization that, I thought I had people, and I found myself feeling alone. So when my mom got sick, I felt like I didn't have friends. So I felt loss of friends because I was in need and there was nobody to support me. So you feel lost. Loss can be so many things, you know. So what happens when we go through loss? The first thing, you're in shock. You're shocked. You can't believe it. Your mom is no more. You can't believe it. Your marriage is over. You can't believe it. The job that you put so much is over. So you really get upset. You get upset the first time you lose something or someone. Remember I told you guys I lost my page for like 3 months. I was in deep pain, and I'm earning from this page. As you all know, this is like my place of work. That was a job loss. My page was just suddenly taken. Somebody deceived me and I thought it's Facebook talking to me. The next thing, I didn't have my page. I went into prayer to stay strong, but I was feeling the pain. So loss. I don't know if I was angry. When I lost my brother in 2012, I wasn't angry, but I was bitter. I was just so bitter. Like, how could my brother just die like that? I had hope. My brother, alcohol had taken my brother, and I had hope that one day my brother was going to stop drinking. And by the time he was dying, he had stopped drinking for like a year because he was sick. He had suffered a stroke. Yobeshawa, you don't know you. So now I was hoping that, you know, one day he's gonna snap out of it. And then I saw my brother on like a Sunday. It was Mother's Day in 2012, and I decided to skip Mother's Day to go spend time with him in the hospital. And we talked, and you know, I always, every time I saw him, I asked him for his land, because he never had a wife, he never had kids. So I'm like, why can't you give me your land so I can do something at, you know, at that plot? Like, that is the joke I threw to him every time I saw him. And you know, every time I saw him, my husband came with me, and then he'll tell me, you want to be the dog that had a bone in the mouth, and when the dog saw an image of the bone, he let the bone that he had in the mouth to go for the bone that was in the water. He always gave me that story. That was something I always told him, because I always told him, I want your land. You don't want to get married? Give me your land. What are you going to do with your land? So I did that joke on a Sunday. On Monday, I went to work. At 1 p.m., he called me by mistake. Then I'm like, oh, I thought you called me to give me the land. I'm like, did you eat? We talked. That same day, my brother died at 9 p.m. The worst news ever. And you know, let me tell you guys, if you've never lost somebody in America and you're an immigrant, it's the most painful, difficult thing. The hospital calls me because I'm next of kin, and they're telling me, what funeral home do you want us to take him? I'm like, what? I've never known that once somebody expires, within hours you need to give the funeral home. Thank God I had a friend who told me which funeral home to go. So I felt so bad. So when you lose someone, I just gave you a small story of my loss. My first loss, I always say, it was so painful losing my brother while I was watching. I used to see my brother maybe once a month. Sometimes every 2 weeks we'd go there, you know, with the kids. We go to the park. He would treat my kids. So what happens in the process, when you feel lost, when you lose something, you lose your confidence, because you're thinking, what could have I done different? I was wondering, what could have I done different to save my brother? And then you start feeling fear. I was afraid for some reason, especially death. You start thinking that, you know, if my brother died, if Mokaya died, then even me, I can die. You start having this fear. I took a whole month off to do self-care because I was feeling so sad. And at the time, I had a child. I had a newborn. I was breastfeeding. I thank God I didn't go into depression. Most of you, or most people, will go into depression. I didn't want to drink alcohol. Some of you, when you suffer loss, you drink alcohol, or you start smoking weed, or you start looking for sex. You look for things to make you feel good. For me, I'm glad I had the baby, because my son was making me feel good. Some of you will fall into deep depression, because you know what, you don't know what to do. For me right now, I'm doing gardening therapy. Anytime I'm having low moments, I just get up, take the key, and I go to the garden. I'm not a drinker. I'm not a smoker. I'm not into adding substance into my body, but I'm addicted to food. I eat all the time. I told my sister yesterday, I cannot finish an hour without putting something through my mouth. That's an addiction. It doesn't always have to be something that is toxic. It could be food. So what we call is called post PTSD is when you have, like, you're suffering, you're trying to make it, but you remember the trauma, you relieve the trauma, and you start feeling pain. Happy Tuesday, Mikali. You start feeling the pain again. Things that people have done to you, you start reliving the trauma. So for me, it was my brother. And some of you have never experienced loss, especially in death, work. Loss is very painful. So what I'm asking people to do today, think about the situation. Think about whatever grief you're going through, what you've lost. There is nobody who has not lost anything. I want people to start understanding. Even sometimes when I talk on Facebook, people think that some people are having it good. Not everybody has it good. There is no human being who has it good, because we are all human. We all go through the same things. I could be talking about a story here, and the story could sound like it's you who's going through the story. Figure out your situation. Yeah, this is Penny without makeup, organic, authentic. Think about your situation. Think about your grief. What did you lose? What are you suffering? Okay, what is it? Have you accepted that this is reality? Because you know what? Mokaya died young, and guess what? I am going to die. I am going to lose a job. My children are going to do things I don't like. I am going to experience some kind of loss. There are friends that I've lost. I don't know how many friends that I have lost that I can count. Once in a while I miss them. But I do miss like the relationship I had. Is it a friend? Accept that that's part of life. You gain and you lose. Everybody gains and everybody loses. Do you want to address your issue? Do I want to seek counseling for losing my brother? Do I want to talk to somebody? Decide if you want to talk to somebody. And when you talk about talking to somebody, it could be a therapist. Call a friend. You can call me, I can call you, we talk about the loss. If you have a friend, a good friend, go sit somewhere and talk about it, because it's very painful. When are you going to let go? You people, I'm looking good without makeup. No, I put a little foundation every now and then, but today I want to be organic. Oh, look at Mary. Mary said she lost her firstborn son. It's not been easy. Mary, have you gone through the process of grief? You have to go through the process of grief. You know, you have to decide if you want to get help. And then, when are you going to let go? Let me tell you the truth. Every Thanksgiving, I used to pick my brother and bring him home. Every Thanksgiving, he would call me. He knew it was standard order. Every Thanksgiving, the day before Thanksgiving, which is Wednesday, I find myself crying. Because you know what? I had that routine. You have to let go, but it's not easy to let go. But I allow myself to cry. I allow myself to miss my brother. I allow myself to feel, and I dream about him all the time. I don't even know. You guys who've lost people, you dream about these people? I always dream about my father, my brothers who are gone. All the dead people that I know that I was close to, they come in my dreams. You know, people used to say they're calling you. Hey, don't call me quickly. They say they're calling you. But Mokaya is always in my dreams. My brother Nixon is always in my dreams. He's always telling me something. My father is always talking to me. I wake up, I'm like, ooh. The other night, a couple of weeks ago, I was crying in my dream. And it was between me and my father. I'm like, how could my father? I cried. And my husband woke me. He told me, you know, you're crying. You know? Find something. Do you want to let go? If you're not letting go, how long do you want to hold on to that? You know, sometimes we cannot get back what we've lost. There is no way I'm going to bring Mokaya. I'm not really in full acceptance that he's gone, but I wrestle with it. I wrestle with thinking that, you know what, my brother is no longer there. I can't believe it. Some of you, it's a marriage that you used to have. Mora, how are you? You had a beautiful marriage and it's gone. Going through the process of grief, and it's very personal journey and so hard, not easy. We need to agree that it's not easy. For everyone, it's different. You could have lost the person that was the reason that you are living. So some of you are dead living because that person that gave you life is gone. The person that kept you going is gone. If it's your spouse, the marriage that you looked up to, like you're thinking you thought you married, and then it's gone. The journey is so different. How are you grieving? Pay attention to grief. Don't put it on the side. If you put grief on the side, you're going to suffer more. You're going to create more pain. You're going to get yourself in so many bad things because you're not taking care of grief. When you lose something, grieve it, cry, be sad. If need be, again, check, call, and care. Check, call, and care is something that it should be standard. Check yourself. Ask yourself, do you need someone to talk to? Do you need to do something about it? Call somebody and then start taking care of yourself. I have been decluttering my house. There's a time since my mom got sick, I actually lost it. I thought I was strong. I found out I wasn't strong. And the people on Facebook, I always thank these women and men that I met on Facebook, that we ran the Kissy groups together. These admins, they're the ones that kept me going, because I would tell them exactly how I was feeling. I used to go into that group, the Kissy group, and vent, because my mom's care was becoming crazy. They held me. Who's holding you? Are you getting the care? When I lost my page, I had my friend, Baba Jackie, again an admin. He's the one I used to talk to. I'm like, what do you think I would ask him things. Even if he wasn't helping me, he was giving me like some comforting words. Don't just ignore grief. Don't ignore loss. Pay attention to loss. Pay attention to loss. If you ignore it, it's going to be deadly. If you ignore it, it's going to cause another life. Because let me tell you, you are who you are, and you give who you are. So if you are not self-caring yourself, you're giving negative. Negative energy breeds negative. Positive energy breeds positive. And part of the bitterness and anger that we have is from loss. Loss is what causes all these problems we have in society. Even some people, some parents feel lost after all their children move out of the house. That's a kind of loss. Can you imagine all my 4 children are going to move out of my house and then I'm with my husband? One final story. Yesterday, I was telling my sister about a guy that worked with me here. This guy gave me a water fountain that I have in my house. He wanted to throw it, and I said, you know what, I'll take it. I took the water fountain. And I used to see this guy every day. He was a pharmacy technician, and I would go to clean his office. And before I clean, I would have a conversation with him, deep conversation. He was a traveler like me. So we had a lot to talk. And he introduced me to an app. For those of you who live in America, there's an app called Meetup. Meetup is an app that links you with people of the same mind, of the same, you're cyclists, you're crocheting, you're dancers. So find that app. It's called Meetup. It helps you connect with people that you're doing the same thing. In fact, I was supposed to join it again because I've not been on it, to do the gardening. So you meet people that you're doing the same thing. And this guy joined this Meetup after he lost his wife. They had one son. He lost his wife and he could not connect with anybody. And he was from another country. I couldn't remember the country. I don't know why I forgot the country. And he would go to Atlantic City. He was hiking. He was going everywhere with a group of people. And Fess was my friend. And we spoke about our families. We discussed different things. And he retired. When he retired, his son had moved to Florida. So he decided to move and follow his son. Stay close to him, an only child. From nowhere, I heard his son died. So, because he put it on Facebook. And his son's death was like mysterious. So, they were planning the funeral. And I was going to go to the funeral. They flew the body to New Jersey. And let me tell you guys, the saddest thing that ever happened. The day of the funeral, when he was driving home, to the funeral home, because he drove to New Jersey from Florida. The day he was driving to the funeral of his son, his car exploded and he died on the way to the funeral. That is somebody that I know. Yesterday I remembered him and I felt a lot of pain. He died. His wife died, his son died, and he died. And his sister was planning the funeral from another country. That is loss. And I remember every time I take water out of that fountain, I feel the pain. And that was somebody I saw 4 days a week, and we spoke every day. We had something to talk about. So that is loss. The whole family perished. What is your loss today? Share this video, find out your loss, and decide if you want to take care of your loss. Because if you don't, you're going to stop living. And we always say, life is for who? Life is for the living. There is nobody who has not suffered loss. Don't think that other people have it easy than others. You lose friends. I have 2 co-workers here that lost their sons. One with a gunshot right here in New Jersey. I work with her here. The other one, she woke up and found her son dead in the room. 2 children, African children, young, with a full life, suddenly death. Find out what you're going through. Find out what is disturbing you and take care of it. Thank you for watching. Please share this video, like my page. I truly appreciate for your time and, you know, setting a time to just listen to me. Cheers, guys.